Welcome, my name is Dana Miller and I'm the Education Coordinator for Haywood County Soil and Water Conservation District, and I'm going to talk to you today about animal adaptations. As we get started, I think it's important to know the word biodiversity, and biodiversity is just the variety of life on our planet. Scientists divide living things up into different kingdoms, and we're going to focus on the animal kingdom today. All living things have adaptations, but we're going to just focus on animal adaptations. And you've probably heard of different types of animals like mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, even insects are animals. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some examples of animal adaptations. What is an adaptation anyway? Adaptations are traits that help an individual survive in their environment. And adaptations can be physical traits like camouflage, or they can be behavioral traits like hunting in a pack. The type of adaptations an animal will have is dependent on the environment that it lives in. Animals that live in the Arctic tundra are going to have very different adaptations than animals that live in a coral reef, for example. Adaptations can also depend on the animal's niche in their environment, and that's just their role or job in the environment. So for example, predator species will have different adaptations than prey species. Let's talk about a few examples of animals and the adaptations that they have. Let's start with an animal that most of us are familiar with, and that's a white-tailed deer. White-tailed deer are named after one of their adaptations, and that's their white tail. On the underside of their tail is bright white, and when they're feeding in a group, if one of them senses danger, they'll throw their tail up, and it's a signal to the other deer in the group that there is danger nearby, and so they can all run away and scatter. Deer are herbivores, and that means that they only eat plants, so they browse and graze for their food. And they have flat teeth throughout their mouth, and flat teeth are perfect for grinding up plant material. As a prey species, deer also have eyes that are positioned more on the side of their head, and that helps them to see around them and to sense danger. We have something similar with peripheral vision, where we can see out of the sides of our eyes without moving our head, and that helps us to sense danger. So that's an example of an adaptation that humans have. A predator species for deer may be a gray wolf, and gray wolves are really unique animals. They're the classic apex predator. They have very sharp teeth throughout their mouth because they're carnivores, and so they use those sharp teeth to rip apart meat. They also have a keen sense of smell and a keen sense of vision. Their eyes, instead of being on the sides of their head, are pointed forward, and that's because they're using depth perception to hunt their prey. Gray wolves also live in a pack, and that's a behavioral adaptation. When you live in a pack, it's easier to hunt prey. If you think about some of the things that wolves eat, they're much larger than a wolf itself. So hunting in a pack helps them be more successful. The pack also helps to raise all the pups. It helps to raise all the young and to defend territory. So those are some adaptations that you may be familiar with. Another animal that you may be familiar with is the timber rattlesnake. Timber rattlesnakes live here in the mountains of western North Carolina, and they're one of 6 venomous snakes in North Carolina. Venom is one type of physical adaptation that helps that species survive in their environment. They're able to inject venom to help kill their prey or to ward off predators. So timber rattlesnakes also have that rattle on the end of their tail, and they can shake that as a warning to danger to get away, that they're there. They also have an excellent sense of heat sensing. They use pits on their head to help sense heat in the form of their prey or in the form of danger. Now, something that may eat a timber rattlesnake are things like owls. Owls, eagles, hawks, falcons are all types of raptors. And a raptor is a type of bird that hunts their prey. Birds are animals that do not have teeth, they only have beaks. And we can tell a lot about what birds eat by looking at the shape of their beak. Raptors all have a hooked, curved, sharp beak, and that helps them to catch their prey and to rip meat apart. They also have really sharp talons that help them grip their prey. These birds of prey have certain adaptations that help them survive in their environment. For example, owls have huge eyes. They hunt at night, they're nocturnal, and so they need to have really good night vision. And their eyes are huge to help them see in the nighttime. They also have special feathers on their wings that help them be silent when they fly through the night. Speaking of venom, possums are immune to venomous snakes. That's one of their physical adaptations. Possums are the only marsupial native to North America. A marsupial is a type of mammal that carries their young in a pouch, like kangaroos or koalas. Possums are wonderful for the ecosystem because they help to eat parasitic insects and ticks and things like that. And they're really unique animals. And one of their adaptations is playing dead. It's a behavior they have when they feel threatened. And most things, predators don't want to hunt dead stuff, so they will stay away from the possum playing dead. Possums can actually slow their heart rate down and emit an odor like a dead carcass to really help with the drama in playing dead. These are only a few examples of animal adaptations. The animal kingdom is so diverse, and I encourage you to do some research to learn more about different animal adaptations. I also encourage you to spend some time outside, maybe in your backyard or a nearby park, or go on a hike, and just spend time observing different animals and identifying their unique adaptations. As a craft to kind of wrap up, I would challenge you to create an animal out of craft materials that you have around your house, and you can be creative. Things like toilet paper rolls, construction paper, markers, googly eyes, pipe cleaners. You be creative, you're the artist. And create an animal that could survive in an environment. So as you get started thinking about your animal, the first thing you want to think about is the environment that it lives in and what adaptations it would need to help it survive. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something about animal adaptations, and I'd love to see what you create.